Shabbat Shalom and greetings to you all. Hope you all got a chance to relive the moon landing. It was really something else. Now, for some reason, quite often during the summer, while the weather is great, people experience negative feelings. You might have noticed that there are times when you feel alienated or misunderstood. Perhaps even, you get a little reclusive and emotionally withdrawn. And if you find yourself going through that, accept the events of your life. Acceptance will lead to a more relaxed and happy state. And friends, always show some compassion for the people around you. They may be feeling a little off too. They'll feel better from it. So will you. Now, every week we devote some time to feeling kind and compassionate and sharing and caring. So let's begin, as we always do, by gathering together, all of us, as a community of like-minded, like-souled individuals in search of unification of spirit, the collective consciousness of seekers, and a showing of faith, of love, a community, a chavura, a fellowship, expressing our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes that unites all of us in this community house of spirit, Beth Ruach. So once again, please do go ahead and invite everybody, physically, psychically, emotionally, spiritually, to gather and share from Psalm 133, the Hine Matov. Come together. Hine Matov, Benai, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Matov, Benai, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. 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 Together. And it is for brothers and sisters, all of us people, to come together as a community, my friends. So as a community, let's all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the entire world. Remember, friends, this is your sending out some of that goodwill that we all generate, and we all do. We send it out to the universe where it'll do the most good. We often do that during the Sabbath, that special time, that sacred time, because the Sabbath is a special time. It's that meeting of sacred time with sacred space. Whether you're alone or in a group, it's your chance to praise and imitate God, creation, life itself. Give thanks. Well, let's send some special birthday wishes to Leora. I'm sure it will be a great year for you. It's been quite the year already. You're destined to shine in the year ahead. Let's also take a few minutes to invoke healing and renewal for everybody you know, everywhere. For everybody, for the souls and spirits of everybody. So think of whoever that needs healing and renewal and love, or just plain goodwill, which we all need. Focus on them. Call their names. It's not just for people, my friends. It's for our pets, for the earth. It is the healing of the world, the tikkun olam, that's part of our genetic, spiritual makeup. Friends, our perception of the world is a work in progress, which is why we're obliged to fix it. And we fix it by fixing ourselves. That's the real meaning of tikkun olam. It's for Honey, for Dave, for Chris, and for Kim, for Ben, for Karen, and for sweet Rosemary. And of course, renewal for all of you, because you all need renewal too. Friends, it is the kindness, healing wishes, goodwill, and love we all send out that circles the world, finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care, because the world is a world of spirit, and spirit, my friends, never dies. Me, Shabbat, Avotenu, Makor HaBracha, Limotenu, may the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage, make our lives a blessing, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Let's all say Amen, my friends. Misha Baruch, let us all have our spirits renewed. This is the great prayer for healing, in which we call upon God to heal as He has healed before. Misha Baruch, may He who blessed, because healing is a blessing. All right, so let's pray for renewal and show gratitude for the wonders of our lives, and let's hope everybody we know has a fantastic year. Now, this parsha we're going to read today, it's a perfect example of the imperfect and arbitrary textual breaks found in the Torah. Don't forget, it wasn't written with these chapters in mind. That was all done hundreds and hundreds of years later. Now, this parsha should have begun a few verses earlier, at Numbers 25:6, when we read about a couple having sex at the tent of meeting. They were within the enclosure of the most sacred site on earth where God would tent among the people. That, my friends, is the real red tent, the Kuba. Now, the Kuba is quite well known in the pre-Islamic Near East. It was a tent used to house sacred objects. And like the biblical tabernacle, it was made of red leather. Now, since this episode begins precisely at the entrance to the tabernacle, or the tent of meeting, as you'll often see it called, it certainly appears that the Kuba here refers to the inside of the tabernacle. Now, this week we read Pinchas, or in the Greek, Phineas. Numbers 25:7. And Phineas, son of Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, saw, and he got up from among the congregation and took a spear in his hand, and he ran the two of them through, the Israelite man and the woman. Okay, so what was the crime? And why did Phineas demonstrate such zeal? So that he would be rewarded with what was actually his anyhow. He's going to be rewarded with permanent priesthood. Now, his father Eleazar was alive, and therefore he was the high priest. So Phineas's heirs would be high priests anyhow. Remember, there's only one. And like a king, it goes to the firstborn son. Eleazar took over when Nadab and Abihu were killed, and Eleazar's son Phineas will take over for him. So I always wondered, what's the great reward from God here? He's giving somebody something that he's already been entitled to. Now, the crime he acted upon, that's the interesting thing, because it's a ritual crime. The crime is not that an Israelite and a Midianite have sexual relations. It's that they have violated the tabernacle. As non-Levites, they are not even permitted to enter it, let alone to have sexual relations there, whether it's for procreation, pleasure, or even as a fertility rite. And we're also told it's not just anybody. This was an Israelite prince and a Midianite princess. My love don't give me presents. I know that she's no peasant. Only ever has to give me love forever and forever. My love don't give me presents. Turn me on when I get lonely. People tell me that she's only fooling. I know she isn't. Now, if it were solely an ethical offense, there would be a trial and an inquiry into their motives. But for a ritual violation of the holy place, there's no trial, because there is no possible defense, no satisfactory motive or explanation. Phineas, as a priest, can enter, and he executes them as the law requires. Now, friends, we are so far removed from that type of law and understanding of the sacred space since the destruction of the temple. But that's how important ritual law was. We do not know from it, and we never will. Now, the action of the couple actually started a plague that we find out is going on, and it kills 24,000 people. And it is stopped by Phineas's action. So God gives him the covenant of eternal priesthood because he was jealous for his God, and he made atonement for the children of Israel. Okay, God rewards his defenders, we know that, but at least give him something he wasn't going to get anyhow. Now, we then move into another long list of tribal members, and the only one worth noting, not that they're all, not worth noting, and they're all important, but the one to note is Zelophehad, who will play a rather prominent role. And the total of the people, when you finish reading through all of them, is close to what we saw before. Numbers 26:51. These are the counts of the children of Israel, 601,730. It was 605,000 at the beginning of Numbers. And why is this count so important? Numbers 26:53. The land shall be distributed to these as a legacy with the number of names. Now, the distribution of land is the most important thing. It will affect all future events and play such an important role with the Jubilee and the return of land to those who owned it. Now, this count takes place before the people cross into the promised land. The last count was at the start of the journey in Sinai, right? And those people are all dead. Numbers 26:63. These are the counts of Moses and Eleazar the priest, who counted the children of Israel in the plains of Moab by the Jordan towards Jericho. I was just there the other day. And there was not a man among these from the counts of Moses and Aaron the priest who counted the children of Israel in the wilderness of Sinai. So not a man from before the wilderness generation has been eradicated. Because the Lord said of them, they shall die in the wilderness, and not a man was left of them except Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and Joshua, son of Nun. And we know all about Joshua because he inherits the mantle of Moses. Now, I told you to note a name, Zelophehad. It's a strange name, probably not well known. Numbers 27:1. And the daughters of Zelophehad, son of Hepher, son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, of the families of Manasseh, son of Joseph, came forward. So you get the whole history. So he's from the tribe of Joseph's kids, Manasseh, that he had in Egypt. Now, like I said, Zelophehad may not be well known, but his daughters should be. They changed history. Okay, kind of got changed back, but their impact must never be underestimated. I am woman, hear me roar, and numbers too big to ignore. And I know too much to go back and pretend. 'Cause I've heard it all before, and I've been down there on the floor. No one's ever gonna keep me down again. Yes, I am wise, but it's wisdom known to pain. Paid the price, but look how much I gain. If I have to, I can do anything. I'm strong, I'm invincible, I am woman. Now, how many of you remember that song? See, these daughters of Zelophehad, they stood in front of Moses and they said, Numbers 27:3, our father died in the wilderness, and he wasn't among the congregation who were gathered against the Lord in Korah's congregation. Rather, he died through his own sin, and he had no sons. Why should our father's name be subtracted from among his family because he didn't have a son? Give us a possession among our father's brothers. They want to inherit. Don't they know it's a man's world? These are the first cohort of feminists. Now, unfortunately, they don't make their case in terms of their own rights or rights of women in general. They put it in terms of their father, that his name would be eliminated from the territorial holdings of Israel. And the issue is one that arises in the law of the Jubilee. Land is unalienable. It is to be distributed among the Israelites when they arrive in the land based upon the count we just had. If a man never loses his land, it is returned to him in the Jubilee year. If he has died by then, it is returned to his sons. But the property in his name stays in the family forever. Zelophehad's daughters now protest that the property that would have gone to their father would go to his brothers instead, and the family holding in his name will be lost. Right? And they say, hey, that's not right. Numbers 27:6. And the Lord said to Moses, Zelophehad's daughters speak right. You shall give them a possession for the legacy among their father's brothers, and you shall pass their father's legacy to them. A man who will die and not have a son, you shall pass his legacy to his daughter. So there you go. They have just struck a blow for women's rights. And this judgment is an important step in the whole development of women's rights. But its message is mixed. On the one hand, it says that women can inherit property, and the right of inheritance precedes the rights of their father's male siblings or any other male relatives who are, more distantly related to their father than the women. But on the other hand, It applies only if their father had no son. So it didn't quite go all the way. If a father has even one son and 10 daughters, the son inherits the family land. Now, the daughters then are dependent on the brother or on their husbands for property. This matter of women's inheritance will become even more complex in the last chapter of Numbers, but it's a huge blow for women, and unfortunately it gets a little bit turned back so that, they don't quite have the same rights that it seems God's giving them here. Woman is the slave of slaves. Yes, she is. Think about it. Woman is the slave of slaves. Think about it. Do something about it. We make her paint her face and dance. If she won't be a slave, we say she don't love us. If she's real, we say she's trying to be a man while putting her down. We pretend she's above us. Now, that song's probably not considered playable or politically correct anymore, but it did make a very powerful statement that is still applicable. Friends, social transformations take time. It provides for steps such as this one, which in the short run established that women do have rights, and which ultimately participated in the development of women's rights more generally. Now, we can praise the Bible for how far it went, or we can be critical that it did not go farther. But we would be better to examine how far it went in its age, and how much this contributed to the transformation in the balance between men and women in the millennia that followed. The larger point's the same, made earlier with regard to slavery. The Torah does not forbid it and attempts to bring it to an end overnight. It gives laws of treatment of slaves, which involved granting respect, rights, compassion. And this eventually undermines slavery as an institution. It's the same with this, with women's rights. So the shrinking of slavery and the increase of women's rights are two of the major developments of the past 120 years in our lifetime. But the Torah's laws played an early and determinative part in birthing and nurturing both of these revolutions. And they were revolutions, my friend. And yes, the world is sacred. So is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom, be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light, and all who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone. And end to terror and hatred. Goodwill and love, they'll live forever. So pray for peace and freedom for everybody. We all need to have it. We share a community, my friends. We learn together. We celebrate each other. We love each other. We share this right together, men and women equally. So let's send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. And please do learn to forgive and learn to love, including yourself. Take advantage of the time that you have. Enjoy the journey. We take the twists and turns and the patterns that weave through the fabric of our lives in our effort to grow, to learn, to be, to love. So please do love. Now, bless you all. Have a fantastic week, a week of love and light, a week of peace, a week of miracles. Examine your intentions. Use them to imprint your will on the universe, because we set in motion all that happens in our lives. Our intention, our kavana, our cause, our effect, everything is linked. And as I've said, you always have time to forgive and to be forgiven. You have the knowledge of what is good and bad. So acknowledge what you've done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any person you've wronged. Ask for forgiveness, but do so with sincerity, accountability, vulnerability. Forgive those who've hurt you as you learn to be forgiving and compassionate, because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace, my friends, is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself, other people in the world, just as they are? Can you accept life just as it is without trying to control it? If you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. So do not stop your journey. Keep on dreaming, keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching, keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear, follow love, because it's always in front of you. And remember to have faith, an unwavering adherence to principle, just as I have faith in the principle of love in all of you. Act with purity of heart and mind. Despise none, defraud none, hate none, cherish all, Honor every child of God, every creature of the earth. May all people know peace in this year, and may you nurture kindness and love everywhere. Work to be present in the body. Expand your heart. Quiet your mind. Because these are all important things for you to do. The deepest power comes from consciousness and the ability to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all of life's circumstances. So make the most out of your time in this life and continue to touch and transform the lives around you, because you're never alone, my friends. You're forever blessed and have the ability to bring blessings to everybody you meet. Health, love, renewal to everybody you come across, because we're all energy, and energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. Your words are your power to transform, to love, to bless. Be generous with them. Bless others, and then bless yourself. Love with the heart, because we're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear. Forgiveness, not anger. Be there for someone, because someone will always be there for you, whether you know it or not. And continue to explore faith and belief in what it means to you. And never accept shame as a natural state. Whatever you feel others have felt, whatever you've experienced others have too, we share together. We learn together, and we help each other. We are, each of us, trying to find love and acceptance and support. We all have, or could have, that special someone in our lives. Find them and tell them what they mean. And remember, you're never alone on your journey to your promised land. You're being watched out for. So always be kind. Keep forgiving those you need to forgive, and keep asking forgiveness from those you need to ask forgiveness of. Do not get caught in fear. Forgiveness comes from acceptance, and that brings peace. And peace, my friends, can last forever. So enjoy the week. Continue to imprint your will on the universe. And remember, friends, men and women were put here to be together. Ego is what makes us want to be superior. We'll all be damned. Here comes your ghost again. But that's not unusual. It's just that the moon is full, and you happen to call. Here I sit, hand on the telephone, hearing a voice I know a couple of light years ago, heading straight for a fall. Relationships, they are diamonds and rust. Celebrate the one you love and tell them you love them. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. Take care. Bye.